Jack Nicholson's early life is often described as one of Hollywood's most unusual personal histories, shaped by secrecy that only came into focus decades later. Born in 1937 in New Jersey, he was raised in a household where the lines of identity were intentionally blurred to protect a fragile family situation. The woman he believed to be his sister was, according to later revelations, actually his mother, while the woman he thought was his mother was in fact his grandmother. This arrangement was reportedly designed to avoid social stigma and maintain appearances during a time when unplanned pregnancies carried heavy judgment. Nicholson grew up in a modest environment, unaware of the full truth, while his family carefully maintained the constructed story. Despite the confusion surrounding his origins, his upbringing was filled with humor, resilience, and early signs of the charisma that would later define his career. He attended local schools in New Jersey, where his personality already stood out, laying the foundation for a life that would eventually collide with Hollywood fame and unexpected personal revelations. The shocking truth that emerged in adulthood for decades. Nicholson lived without questioning the narrative his family had built around him. It wasn't until he was already a successful actor in Hollywood that the truth reportedly surfaced through investigative research connected to a magazine feature. During routine fact-checking, inconsistencies in public records reportedly led journalists to question his listed family relationships. When the information was relayed back to Nicholson, it allegedly came as a profound shock. At first, he was said to have dismissed the claim, unwilling to accept that the people he had known his entire life were not who he believed them to be. However, further confirmation from extended relatives eventually supported the revelation. By the time the truth was clarified, both of the key family figures involved had already passed away, leaving Nicholson without the possibility of direct answers. Despite the emotional weight of the discovery, he later described the experience in a measured way, suggesting that while it was surprising, it helped him better understand certain aspects of his upbringing and family dynamics that had previously seemed confusing or incomplete. Early steps toward a Hollywood future. Nicholson's journey into entertainment began in a way that was far from glamorous. As a teenager, he moved to Los Angeles with the intention of briefly visiting family, but ended up staying permanently. In those early years, he took on small jobs in the entertainment industry, including work in studio environments where he earned modest wages while observing the filmmaking process from behind the scenes. He was not immediately seen as a star, and instead spent time learning how the industry functioned. During this period, he also explored acting classes and community theater, gradually building confidence in his abilities. Casting opportunities were scarce, and he often faced rejection due to his unconventional look and intense screen presence. Still, he persisted, driven by curiosity and determination. These formative years were marked by uncertainty, financial struggle, and constant auditions, but they also provided him with the foundation of discipline and observation that would later become essential to his acting style and creative decisions in film. The influence of independent filmmaking mentors, a turning point in Nicholson's early career, came through his association with independent filmmaker Roger Corman, known for working with low budget and giving opportunities to emerging talent. Under Corman's guidance, Nicholson began taking on small but meaningful roles in genre films that allowed him to experiment with character work. These productions were often made quickly and with limited resources, but they provided valuable experience in front of the camera. Nicholson also explored screenwriting during this period, contributing to scripts that reflected the countercultural tone of the time. While these projects did not bring immediate fame, they helped him build industry connections and develop a reputation for versatility. Working with Corman also exposed him to the realities of filmmaking, including tight schedules and creative improvisation. This phase of his career is often seen as essential to his growth, as it allowed him to refine his craft while staying consistently employed in an industry where many aspiring actors struggled to find any work at all. Breakthrough with a cultural landmark film, Nicholson's major breakthrough arrived with his role in a landmark counterculture film that captured the spirit of a changing America. Initially involved behind the scenes, he stepped into a key acting role after another performer left the project. The film was produced on a modest budget, but went on to become a cultural phenomenon, far exceeding expectations at the box office. Nicholson's portrayal of a complex, free-spirited character earned him his first major award nomination and introduced him to a much wider audience. Critics praised his naturalistic performance and ability to balance humor with emotional depth. This role marked a dramatic shift in his career, transforming him from a struggling actor into a recognized Hollywood presence. It also positioned him as part of a new generation of performers redefining American cinema in the late 1960s and early 1970s. From this point forward, Nicholson was no longer an unknown talent, but an emerging star with significant artistic credibility. Defining performances and critical recognition following his breakthrough, Nicholson delivered a series of performances that solidified his reputation as one of the most compelling actors of his generation. One particularly influential film featured him as a disillusioned man caught between personal freedom and emotional responsibility. His performance was widely praised for its raw intensity and psychological depth, earning him additional award nominations. The film itself became a critical success, frequently cited as one of the defining works of its era. Nicholson's ability to portray flawed, complex characters resonated strongly with audiences and critics alike. During this period, he was often compared to earlier cinematic icons known for redefining masculinity on screen. His growing body of work demonstrated a willingness to take risks, choosing roles that explored uncomfortable emotional territory rather than conventional heroism. This artistic approach helped establish him as a serious dramatic actor and ensured that his career would continue to expand into more ambitious and challenging projects throughout the 1970s. The era of psychological intensity in film, one of Nicholson's most iconic performances, came in a film set within a mental institution, where he played a rebellious patient challenging authority. The production was notable for its use of real locations and immersive atmosphere, which added authenticity to the storytelling. Nicholson's performance was widely regarded as transformative, blending unpredictability with emotional vulnerability. The role earned him his first Academy Award and contributed to a rare sweep of major awards for the film itself. Its success marked a milestone in cinematic history and further elevated Nicholson's status in Hollywood. Around the same time, he continued to explore characters dealing with psychological conflict, often portraying individuals on the edge of emotional breakdown. These roles reinforced his reputation for intensity and commitment to character immersion. The combination of critical acclaim and audience recognition established him as one of the defining actors of the decade, capable of carrying complex narratives with both charisma and depth. Creating cinematic horror legacy, Nicholson's work in psychological horror further cemented his legacy, particularly through a role as a writer who becomes increasingly unhinged while isolated in a remote hotel. The performance is often cited as one of the most chilling in film history, with Nicholson fully embracing the character's descent into madness. His improvisational approach contributed to several iconic scenes that remain widely referenced in popular culture. The production itself was known for its demanding conditions, which reportedly affected the cast and crew. Nicholson's ability to maintain intensity throughout filming became a defining feature of the role. The film initially received mixed reviews, but later gained recognition as a masterpiece of the horror genre. It also demonstrated Nicholson's willingness to push emotional and psychological boundaries in his performances. This period reinforced his status as an actor capable of delivering both mainstream success and deeply unsettling artistic portrayals, further expanding the range of his career. A transformative deal in superhero cinema in the late 1980s, Nicholson took on a role that would become one of the most financially successful decisions in Hollywood history. Cast as a major antagonist in a large-scale superhero film, he negotiated an unusual compensation structure that included a reduced upfront salary in exchange for a share of box office and merchandise profits. The film became a massive global success, and his earnings from the deal reportedly far exceeded traditional acting fees. His portrayal of the character redefined cinematic villains, blending theatricality with dark humor in a way that influenced future interpretations of similar roles. The performance remains one of the most recognizable depictions of a comic book antagonist. Beyond financial success, the role demonstrated Nicholson's business acumen and understanding of Hollywood economics. It also showed his ability to adapt to changing cinematic trends while maintaining his distinct acting style, ensuring continued relevance in an evolving entertainment landscape. Awards, records, and industry legacy over the course of his career. Nicholson accumulated an extraordinary number of accolades, including multiple Academy Awards and numerous nominations spanning several decades. He became one of the most nominated male actors in Oscar history, a record that reflects both consistency and longevity. His awards include recognition from major film institutions across the world, highlighting his international influence. Nicholson's career is often noted for its remarkable range, moving between independent films, mainstream blockbusters, and experimental projects. He became known not only for his acting ability, but also for his instinct in choosing roles that resonated culturally. His influence extended beyond acting into producing and occasional writing, further shaping his legacy in Hollywood. By the time he reached the later stages of his career, Nicholson was regarded as a defining figure in American cinema, representing both artistic excellence and commercial success across multiple generations of filmmaking. A life of relationships and public fascination, Nicholson's personal life has long been the subject of public fascination, particularly his high-profile relationships and romantic history. He was briefly married in the 1960s, but much of his romantic life afterward was characterized by long-term relationships and widely reported affairs. Over the years, media coverage often portrayed him as one of Hollywood's most charismatic and unpredictable personalities. His relationship with actress Angelica Huston was especially significant, lasting many years and marked by both deep affection and repeated challenges. Their time together became emblematic of the complexities of celebrity relationships under constant public scrutiny. Nicholson's personal life frequently intersected with his professional world, with relationships often involving fellow actors and industry figures. Despite the attention, he remained relatively private about emotional details, rarely discussing his relationships in depth. This combination of openness in public perception and privacy in personal matters contributed to his enduring mystique. Family complexity and private distance. Nicholson's role as a father is often described as complex, with multiple children from different relationships. While he maintained close bonds with some of them, particularly his youngest son, his relationships with others have been more distant and complicated. Over the years, various accounts have described differing levels of involvement in their lives, reflecting the challenges of balancing a demanding career with personal responsibilities. Some of his children have pursued creative careers of their own, occasionally drawing comparisons to their father. Nicholson has also spent much of his later life in relative privacy, residing in his longtime Los Angeles home, filled with memorabilia from his career. He has remained a passionate supporter of basketball, particularly the Los Angeles Lakers, attending games regularly for decades. In recent years, he has largely stepped away from public life, making only rare appearances while continuing to maintain a strong cultural presence through his past work. A quiet legacy in his later years, Nicholson has chosen a quieter lifestyle, largely away from the public eye. While occasional appearances at sporting events or public gatherings have drawn attention, he generally maintains a private routine focused on comfort and personal interests. His long association with the Los Angeles Lakers has become part of his public identity, as he was once a fixture at courtside seats for decades. Even after reducing his public appearances, fans continue to associate him with that era of visibility and enthusiasm. Reports from those close to him suggest that he remains mentally engaged and follows current events, though he prefers solitude over media attention. His legacy in film, however, remains firmly intact, with performances that continue to influence actors and filmmakers today. Nicholson's life story, shaped by secrecy, success, controversy, and artistic achievement, stands as one of the most enduring and complex narratives in Hollywood history,